YouTube, welcome back to my spiritual experience. I am your host, Brother Sadiq-U-llah. I am glad to be here, and I hope you are glad to be here. I hope you stay. I hope you decide to share these videos. The intention behind these videos, like I said, is to break up the mysticism about our spirituality. As you probably know, if you've watched any of the videos previous, my belief is that we need to make spirituality commonplace. And so the goal of these videos and this channel, I'm sorry, excuse me. The goal of the videos and the channel are designed to make spirituality common to the everyday man and woman, or everyday soul. I'm sorry, because the world is uh, so non-binary anymore that I think I should just say to the everyday soul. And so if I can share my own experiences, I'm hoping that it can make more people comfortable talking about their own experiences. I recognize that it's not a common thing in society for us to share such experiences, whatever they may be. It's kind of taboo to talk about, oh, I saw a UFO, or oh, I saw a ghost, or hey, I saw Bigfoot. All of these things are kind of taboo in our society, but I think it's time that we bring all of these things out into the normal part of our experience, because I think what we'll find is that these experiences are so common to us that they're not really as hidden as we like to think. I think our socialization makes us protect ourselves in a way that is kind of stopping our elevation and development and growth. And so I'm going to be the first to come out of the spiritual closet and expose all of these things that I have personally experienced. And I hope to be able to interview as many of you as possible. Actually, so far, as of yet, I have three interviews scheduled for our future episodes, and I am looking so forward to this. One of them, I think, has the possibility of even going viral. So I'm really excited about this, and I hope you are. I hope you guys start to share these videos with like-minded individuals, open-minded individuals who aren't afraid to share and talk about our humanity. I think these experiences are just part of the human family. And so, like I said, the more we talk about it, the less taboo it becomes. And so here we are again. If you've watched my last one or two episodes, what you'll recognize is that in my own life, I've had several, like I like to use the word auspicious experiences. So when I say that, I mean spiritual experiences, or experiences that cause me to be transformed in some way or another. Um, yeah. And so, what we're going to do is talk today about another experience that I had when I was 5 years old. I've had many of these experiences, and it seems like I guess you could say I was initiated very young at 5 years old. If you watch the last video, it explains. I explain on that video that I was 5 years old when I had my occurrence with what I is obviously a UFO. At the time, of course, I didn't know it because I was 5 years old, and it was just an amazing thing to see. So you don't know, you don't know. So yeah. Anyway, at 5 years old as well, like I said, I was living in Detroit, Michigan, um, and growing up in the city. All you see is bricks and glass. You see the tall buildings, you see cars, and all of the things that you see in a very large city. And so that was all I was used to seeing at that age. And so this is a story about my very first field trip. My very first field trip. If anybody is familiar with Michigan, it is known for. it's apples, apple orchards. And so that's where our very first field trip was. I was 5 years old, so kindergarten or first grade, whatever that is. And we went to the apple orchard. And so we're on the bus, we're leaving the city, and I'm looking out the window and I'm just looking at the background of where we are to where we're going. And I see it getting more rural, and it was kind of curious to see that there was a different world outside of Detroit. And that people, excuse me, I'm sorry for that, but it was curious to understand that people were living in a different way than we lived in the city. And so when we finally get to the apple orchard, it's we meet the owner of the apple orchard. He has a farm, and uh, the farm owner has a wife, and they have three children. There is two boys and a girl. The boys were about 16 and 15, and the girl looked to be maybe 13 or 14. I'm 5 years old, so when you're five, all those people are big, so they just seem like adults. You don't know the difference. But anyway, as we are traveling through this gentleman's orchard, they're showing us all the things that they make inside of the building where they do apple cider and applesauce and apple butter and all of the things that they make from apples. And of course, this is interesting, but what's most interesting to me, because this man owns a farm, are these cows. He has cows and they are huge, right? Of course, you're five, so a cow is definitely huge. And I was a little dude, so I was probably smaller than a normal kid anyway. But anyway, I see these cows. This is my very first time in my life seeing a cow, and it's huge. And so the guy has like a corral, and he probably owns 60 cows, maybe. And when you're a kid, it seems like 1,000 cows because it's the first time seeing them, and they're huge and they're just everywhere. And so I remember my mom telling me about McDonald's hamburgers being beef, and that they were made a cow is beef, and so they were made out of a cow. Now these cows were hanging their head over the corral, and we're like 3 feet away from them in a line. We walk in a straight line in the class at that age. And so the cows are like leaning their head over, and it's like I'm looking at his teeth, and his head is so big, and I'm like, man, if this cow bites, could bite some, will bite me with the teeth. It's kind of intimidating. But yeah, I was five, so that's part of the story. And so but I'm after we're on our way home, we're on the bus, we're headed back from the orchard, and I'm thinking to myself about these cows and the McDonald's, right? And I'm like, thinking how huge these cows are. So when I get to the house, finally I'm home, I take mom this bag full of goodies, apples, apple butter, apple cider, all of the stuff that they make. And she's like, "Oh wow." And I'm like, "Hey mom, first thing I say is, how many McDonald's hamburgers can you get out of a cow?" She like, What are you talking about? You got all these apples and all this stuff. What are you asking me about McDonald's hamburgers for?" I'm like, "Well, the man at the orchard, he had cows. He was a farmer. He had a bunch of cows." She like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, "Yeah." And they was big. It was really big. How many McDonald's hamburgers can you get out of a one cow? Right? This is where my mind working. I'm 5 years old. This is my 5-year-old mind thinking about McDonald's hamburgers, and so mom like, I don't know. I don't know that. It's pretty small. So let me yeah, I don't know, 15, 20,000. Right? That's like an amazing number when you're five. That's like a million. You don't know the difference. It's like 15 or 20,000, right? Like, oh my God. Right. So you thinking like the dude had all of these cows. So I'm like, I go in my room and come out, and I'm like, Mom, if the guy at the apple orchard gives one of his cows to the guy at the store. We used to live, like I said, I lived in Detroit on a street called Woodmont, and down at this, down at, you know, at the end on a street called Plymouth, which is the larger street. Um, you know, we used to walk up there. I had sisters older and whatever. We used to walk up there sometimes, and it was a store called Woods. You know, everybody, if you're from Detroit and you back in the day, Plymouth area, you know, Rutherford, I mean, you know, Woodmont, all of them area, all of them streets over there. Y'all know the streets. Anyway, it was a store called Woods, and we used to go up there, and it was a dude used to be out there sometime. And I said, Mom, if the man at the orchard gives one of his cows to the man at the store on the corner who always asking for money and for food or whatever, then the guy on the corner wouldn't, you know, he wouldn't need food for, you know, however, you know, for a long time, right? For some years or whatever. I don't know. I'm 5. I couldn't tell you the time frame that I said, but for a long time, right? 20,000 hamburgers, right? 15 or 20,000 hamburgers from one cow, and you hungry. And this guy at the orchard has 100 cows, right? In my mind, right? He got 100 cows. And I've seen his family, right? I've seen his entire family. You know, for 5 years old, this is his entire family to me, right? So, but my mind says he could never eat, they could never, ever in their lifetime eat all of these cows, you know, in their lifetime. So if the dude who got all of these cows gave one of his cows to the dude who got no cows, and the dude who got all the cows, he won't really miss it because he can never eat all of them anyway. So if he give the dude who don't got no cows one cow, there we go. That's the solution, right? So this is my mind. You know, they say what they say out of the mouth of babes, right? Right. So this is my 5-year-old, you know, social calculation to fix a problem that I see is obvious right here in my face, right? So this is 5 years old. I'm trying to solve a problem, right? So I say this, I tell my mom this, and she started laughing. You know, she snickers a little bit, and for me, you know, I'm kind of offended that you laugh. What are you laughing at? I'm like, you know, and I guess, you know, your mom can see my face is not approving her laughter, right? So she's like, oh, baby, I'm not laughing at you. No, it's not you. I ain't laughing at you at all. She said, I'm what I'm laughing at is everything you said is true. What you said is true, baby. And everything you said is right, is true. That is right and it's true. But that ain't how the world is. Okay. Now, that was a long point in the story, but the idea of me telling you this story is letting you know how and when my mind became what they say woke, right? I woke up when I was 5 years old. When my mama told me that I'm right, that my assessment was correct, but that the world that we live in, that's not there. It's not always, you know, it's not always right. I'm right. So when you're 5 and your mom tells you you're right, that is like a level of confidence that you gain that can never be shaken. Mom is God at that age, right? That, I mean, you know, at that point, there is no other truth that is more valid than what your mom says. Mom told me I was right. Right? Mom told me I was right, but the world don't move like that. So the world don't move right? That ain't how the world move. The world don't always move right. What does that mean? What does that mean? Hmm. I didn't really ask her. I didn't question it any further. I just accepted what she said as truth. But it caused me at a very, very, very young age to have an extremely critical eye of the world. So yeah. And it caused me to look at mystery and the mysteries surrounding just all of our lives, right? The reality of things, right? how we perceive reality. And from there, I guess it extended further because it made me wonder of what of what is going on here, right? What is the purpose? What is going on? If the world, if I'm right, and this is something that I felt inside, and it tells me I'm right, but the world don't move that way, it caused me to always be willing to listen to my intuition, to my interior self, and to I'll say it made me extremely curious about life in general. And so it led me to wonder about God. I asked my mom about God one day. I'll just talk about this real quick. This was also at 5 years old. Like I said, at 5 year old, 5 years old, I seem to have been initiated. And so that's why I'm doing this show, because spirituality has long been a theme in my life. Um, it's a part of me. It's a part of my life. It's who I am. It's something I can't deny of myself. And so why, why hide it? Why, bring it on out the closet. Let's talk about it. Let's put it on the table, So fact of the matter is, mom talked to me about God. This is what she said. My mom was not really a religious lady, um, very spiritual. Yeah, very spiritual. And so what I would say is, in fact, my mom used to see ghosts, right? She was kind of known in the family for seeing ghosts. So there has always been an, I guess you say, esoteric or, like I said, unexplained energy surrounding or involved in my life. Not to mention I was born on Halloween. So there's that, right? Anyway, yeah, there were some curious things that happened to me at 5 years old. I asked my mom about God because after she told me the thing about I was right and that the world didn't always operate that way, I started looking at the men in my life, the men in my family, the men in my community, and I discerned that there was an imbalance in most of the way that they interacted with their wives or their family or some aspect of their life. And so it made me wonder about what kind of man I would or should become, right? uh I'm a black man, so I'm only patterning myself after black men. This is my community. And so what I wondered about was the type of man I would become, right? And I asked my mom one day about what the Bible was saying about, my mom, like I said, she wasn't religious, but she read the Bible and had taught us some things about it. And she said that I asked her about, what did the Bible say a man is, right? Right? If there's a God, what God say a man is? What is a God telling man he is supposed to be here doing? Right? So these were the things that I wondered about very young, right? 5 years old. So I asked my mama, and she told me, she said, well, let me tell you, she went and she got the Bible. She got out the Bible and she started going through different parts of the books and saying, well, this is what a father is, and this is what a brother is, and this is what a man is. So based on these uh parables and stories from the Bible, she outlined to me the standards and character of what a man was. And after all of her Bible stuff, she said, now I'm gonna tell you what I think a man is. And she told me that a man was a man who, well, not a male, a man is a man who is willing to accept and stand on that which he does, even if it's wrong, right? Sometimes we wrong, I've been wrong many times, but what you'll understand and what most people who will understand about me is that I won't try to run from it. I won't try to hide from it. I'll go ahead and deal with it and put it on the table so we can get beyond it, grow from it, learn from it, experience whatever there is to come from it, right? Versus trying to hide and run and flee, et cetera, et cetera. But that comes from that teaching from my mom at 5 years old. And so, yeah, a man is a man who stands on his word even when he's wrong. Because a coward is one who goes, "Oh no, it wasn't me, it wasn't him, it was him." It was, you don't. Yeah, that ain't a man, a stand up man. Anyway, so that's a general thing. And then the next conversation, if it is not an interview, I will be talking to you about a very significant lady in my life. Her name is Mrs. Francis. Um, she was probably 67 years old when I was 5 years old. And she was like my best friend in the neighborhood. And she was a very special, spiritually inclined lady. And she had a very keen liking for me. And I'll explain all of that in the next episode, if the next episode is not an interview. So I have 3 interviews that are coming up. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, one of these interviews may actually go viral, and I'm excited about it. And I hope that you guys are, following the show. And I hope that you're getting your confidence up to call, to give me an email, drop an email, give me a comment, and let me know you're ready to be interviewed, and that you're ready to come out of the spiritual closet and expose your um, your gifts and talents and things that are in alignment with spirit, that are part of our molding that makes us who we are. So, as I say, all roads lead to spirit. I won't hold you much longer. Um, but yeah, there will be a consistency to these videos because I'm really looking forward to being a part of this new paradigm that we're living in. I think people are feeling it, are becoming more conscious of it, are aware of it, and some of us may feel it, but not know exactly what it is we're feeling. It is a change. It is a transformation. It is an opening up of our real selves. You know, human potential is far beyond what we've been trained to understand. We've been put inside of a socially engineered box, and most of us are afraid to look outside of it or to step outside of it. Um, I'm not. And I hope you're not. And I'm hoping that you're brave enough to step outside of your own spiritual closet and bring some of these stories to the public so that the public can become, uh, you know, conscious of these things, and we can make this a regular part of life versus our hidden, mysterious, um, closeted spiritual experiences. So, once again, this is your brother, Sadiq-U-llah, and I am here for you, and I hope you come soon to share on this channel and share, whether it be in the comments or to be fully interviewed, and we can get it all out there. I'm looking forward to it. I thank you, and I hope you support the channel. Like I said, subscribe, share with open-minded people, and I will see you next time. All roads lead to spirit. One love.